Hello Math 6 students, parents, and any pre-algebra students who are watching. This is Mr. Giomini, multiplying decimals. I really do enjoy multiplying decimals, but what I enjoy even more so is making estimates. Yes, trying to guess what the correct answer is, making an educated guess. So let's take a look at the first one. I have 9 and 4 tenths, or 9 and 5 tenths times 4 tenths. Now, here's the thing we're going to struggle with. This number obviously is greater than 1. This number is less than 1. Well, if I were just to multiply it, let's just round this to 10. If this were 1, 10 times 1 is 10. But see, this is not 1. It's actually less than 1, which means this number will be less than 10. So if I round this to 10, I'm going to round this to a half. So if I go 10 times a half, or 10, what's half of 10? I get 5, because of is also another way we could talk about multiplication. So I'm really saying, hey, what is half of 10? Now, when I actually physically go out, so my estimate here is going to be, let's just say it's going to be, I think it's going to be a little less than 10, because this is a little less than 5, because this is not quite 10. This is not quite a half. So I'm going to say that it is, let's just go with 3. Okay? So now I am just going to multiply in my standard algorithm for when I multiply decimals. I go 9 and 5 tenths times 4 tenths. Now, ironically, this happens to line up decimals. When you multiply decimals, you do not have to line them up. This just happens to fall like that. Typically, what I do is I put the number with more digits on top, and the number that has the fewer digits, I put all the way to the right on the bottom and line up under digits, but not place value, just digits. So now I go 5 times 4 is 20. I put my 0 there for my 1s. I put my 2 tens up here. I go 9 times 4 is 36. 36 plus my 2 tens gives me 38, I believe. Okay, I'm going to cross out that 4 to hold this place value. I now multiply my 0 times everything up top. Well, that's pretty easy. It all gives me zeros. Now I just add, and that's the easy part. 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 0 is 8. 3 plus 0 is 0. Now we need to plot the decimal points. I like to do this. This decimal point is over one place from the far right, so that's a 1. This decimal point also is over one place to the right from the far right. 1 and 1 gives me 2. I move decimal place 2 places to the left. 1, 2. So that gives me 3 and 8 tenths. I'm going to drop that 0. I don't need it. I could put a billion zeros there. It does not matter. So the actual answer is 3 and 8 tenths. My estimate was 3. I wasn't too far off. It's not bad. Let's look at the next one. I have 17 and a half, or 17 and 5 tenths times 2 and 2 tenths. Now, I could look at this. I'm going to think about rounding. I'm going to round that to 18. I'm going to round this to 2. Okay, 18 times 2. Or I have two groups of, and again, of means multiplication, of 18. Well, I know 18 times 2 gives me 36. So, let's see here. This is not quite 18. This is a little over 2. So, I'm just going to go with, let's just say 35. Okay, I'm going to do that multiplication over here. Again, I do not need to line up decimal points when multiplying decimals. I just need to put digits under digits so that they line up, so there's nothing that's kind of hanging over from everything. So there's what I have. Okay, now again, this just happens to line up decimals. It's not going to always happen like that, except for the next one. So I go 5 times 2 is 10. Put my 1s down here. My 10s I regroup up here. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 1 gives me 15. My 5 1s go here. My 1 10 goes up here. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 gives me 3. Okay, I am done multiplying that 2 by everything up top. I'm going to cross out that 2, but I'm going to put a 0 here to hold that place value. And now I'm going to go this 2 by everything up top. Now, some of us get a little confused, so I make them up here and erase those 1s up here so I don't get confused the next time I'm multiplying through by 2. 2 times 5 is 10. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 1 is 15. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Draw my equals bar, essentially. Put a plus sign. That is 0. That is 5. That is 8. And that is 3. The only thing I have to worry about now is placing a decimal point. 1 over here from the far right. 1 over here from the far right. 1 and 1 is 2. 1, 2. I have an exact answer of 38 and 5/10. I could drop that 0. I don't need it. It's also not wrong if I keep it there, but I want to get fewer digits, the fewest digits possible. There's my answer. Let me just double check my math. 5 times 2 is 10. That's 14. That's 3. Good. 0. That's 10. Good. 14 plus 1. That's 15. Good. All right. Good. I can always pull out my calculator too to check. Let's just see. 17 and 5/10 or 17 and a half times 2 and 2/10 equals 38 and a half. All right. Good. Last one. Now this is going to be a tough one for me to estimate. I have 3/100ths. 3/100ths, I could also write that like this. Times 9/10ths, I can also write that like this. Okay. Now, what could this is almost 1, right? So 1 times anything is also itself. So I'm going to estimate then that this answer probably is pretty close to 3/100ths. Now, I'm going to say it's a little less, because this is not exactly 1. So instead of it being 3/10ths, a number less than 3/10ths is 28/100ths. Okay, now I'm sorry, it's a little less than 300, sorry. I could write 3/100ths like that. Let me make this correction here. That's actually going to make this. I actually say this is 28/1000ths. Okay, so let's see if I can multiply this and get anywhere near being right. So I have 0 and 3/100ths times 9/10ths. Now again, notice this one the decimals do not line up. I am just putting the number that has the most digits on top, and then whatever number goes below that, I am pushing it all the way to the right, so that the first two, if you want to look at these, the first 2 digits or the last 2 digits, how we're going to look at it, I'll look at this, the last 2 line up with each other. I go 3 times 9 is 27. I put my 3 up here. 9 times 3 is 9 times 0 is 0. And wait a minute, I just said 9 times 3 is 27, so I should put up 2 up there. Hope we're paying attention here. That's 27. I put my 2 up here because 9 times 0 is 0 plus a 2. And then 9 times 0 is 0. Now, I can go and say, hey, cross this out, place a 0 to hold its place value, and multiply everything else by zeros, and I know I'll get zeros. I add everything up. That gives me a 7. That gives me a 2. I'll bring down zeros. Now, 2 decimal places here. 1 decimal place here. 2 plus 1 is 3. Move over 3 spots. 1, 2, 3. I'll be darned. Look at that. 27. This is 10ths, 100ths, 1,000. That's 27/1000ths. My estimate was 28/1000ths. Even though I fudged that a little bit. There's my exact. That's a pretty close estimate. Hope this helps. Take care.